So welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking an extra special look at The Rock of Chickamauga from Flying Pig Games. This is a game that's designed by Herman Luttman, and this is part of the Black Swan series. It's a Black Swan game. And if you've played... Okay, let me get it right. A Most Fearful Sacrifice, that is the Gettysburg, which was the first iteration of this particular system and this line from Flying Pig Games. This is the second volume in this Black Swan series. Now, the Black Swan series is a card pull style game, kind of like a chit pull, but it's a big old deck of cards, and there's some kind of order and leadership and command statuses and hierarchies that you go through. But in effect, it is a formation activation game, and you will play the entirety of the Battle of Chickamauga if you wish. But there's also smaller scenarios. It comes in a very big box. It's very large, very heavy. Two massive, oversized mounted map boards. We'll get into all of that. But this is really a two-player hex encounter game on this specific particular battle. And what we'll do is we will just kind of dive on into it and show you everything that you get in this. Okay. So, first up, we have a little kind of slip bag which has all of the paper stuff in it. So we've got the rule book. Nice, fully illustrated, fully color rule book. We're looking at, what, it's 30 pages. Yeah, 30 pages. That's a pretty small typeface, but nothing crazy. And then we have the scenarios book, which is just as long. It might actually be longer, it feels bigger. Yeah, this is 54 pages. That's some designer notes and bits and pieces at the end. But all the different victory conditions, setups for units and things like that, and various different sizes. So this is also one of those games, if you've played pretty much anything from Flying Pig, not everything, but you have like one of the boards and you will play on this particular section of it for a smaller scenario. It's not like the small geomorphic maps or anything like that. So just know that that's something that you're getting yourself into. When you have both the boards out, you can play just this little part here, or you can play the whole big old thing, which is probably how you want to play this. That's like the joy of these games. Then we also have various different play aid cards and kind of holding boxes and displays. So when we say that you need a big table to play this whole thing, I am not joking. Like, we had A Most Fearful Sacrifice. It was not possible to set it up fully on my old table. We have a big custom table where we'll be able to do that no problem, but I know that most people don't have that. So just, we're very aware that this is a very big game. So this is kind of the regular play aid card that you would expect. CRTs, fire, combat, cohesion, various combat ranges based on cannon types or firearms types and ranges, dual-sided, so we have close combat and then various combat events that can happen. If you've played any of those Blind Swords games, this is very similar, very familiar with the way that a lot of those things work. It's inspired by and designed by the same designer, so you get a lot of the same flavor and some of the same elements to it, which are the best parts of it. Terrain effects chart over here, and then an expanded sequence of play with all the various different kind of sub-rules and units as well. Order of battle for the Army of the Tennessee and the Army of the Cumberland, a little turn track marker as well. On the back of it we have the scenario setup guide as well. The rest of this, so this is a second version of that combat play aid. There's two of those, one for each player. But the rest of these are displays that you are going to put out. So you have all these are all the Confederate ones. So you have the various different corps, and then you'll have divisional priorities. And so when you're drawing different cards and setting them up, you're going to draw a card and it's going to go, oh, I pulled Hood's corps, or I might have pulled one of his divisional commanders, and there's a priority in which they will act and what they do on those cards. So there's a lot of filtering, but this does take up a lot of space, especially if you're playing the whole thing. You'll see how big the maps are, and then you have to have all these kind of set up and out as well. So this is a lot of table space that this game needs. I'm not going to understate that. I have the Union ones here as well. There's only 3 of these with Crittenden, Thomas, McCook, Mitchell, and Granger. So, bag of dice, sealed for freshness. So 2 red, 2 black, 2 white, all on the D6s. We have a couple stacks of cards here, which we will open up at the end. And then we have the counters. Let's crack these open. He says, you know what, we're going to do the maps first. We're going to do the maps so that then I can kind of lay everything on top of it. So these are made in a Rick Barber style. I think, I can't remember if, I'm pretty sure he had not already done these for them. But I don't know that for sure. I probably should know that. Here, let me look, see if that's on the back here anywhere. Credits. That it's not credited in a way that makes it clear, but it doesn't, I'm pretty sure, so Rick Barber did the maps for A Most Fearful Sacrifice, and they wanted to keep that style. And so they've, oh, he's double-sided, I did not know that. That's very interesting. Ooh, there we go. So here's one of the maps. Oh, that is interesting that you can do that. I actually really like that. These are dual-sided. I'm actually going to flip this over here in just a second so that you can see that. But these are massive. This is bigger than a 22 by 34, which is kind of the standard size. But this one is fully bordered that you could play a few of the scenarios on. But I'm going to flip it over, and you'll see it's much bigger. And you'll see there's no border at this top edge as well. But you can see this faux hand-drawn style, everything that you would love in that Rick Barber style, and they just kept that style as an ode to Rick's contributions to our hobby and his iconic art style, and they wanted to keep that consistent through the series, which I really liked. This second board, which is the same size, is not dual-sided. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it very well, but down here, this edge is not bordered, as opposed to these ones, which are. And so this is going to go north and south. It's going to go over here. But again, if I put it out, it literally is like off map, like off the screen. This is a very big map, huge, and then also you've got all those other displays as well. You need a lot of space to play this whole thing. But it's large, I think these are slightly larger than 1 inch, because I think the counters, no. Some of the counters are 1 inch counters, and they fit on here. So these are very big hexes. It's easy to look at and assess. Everything's kind of oversized in a way where it doesn't feel crushed up. There's a lot of room for maneuver in this one, it being a Chickamauga game. Even though that maneuver will be very tight in the woods, but still there was a lot of movement during that battle. But the details on here are wonderful. Even from the tiny little, like the McFarland home, and the Schmidt kind of farm, like the little bits and pieces, the details are what I love about ACW maps generally, but also specifically these Rick Barber ones, because it just, that extra level of detail and historiosity and care, I think, comes out in the game. I really like it. I like playing on those things. You know, you have an engagement over here, and that's something that you read about in a book where they fought over this, or in and around this little building. And like, hey, we actually do that. In some maps where like a lot of that's abstracted away or like not labeled, you just lose that ever so slight connection, which I really like. So now we're going to take a look at the counters. Here's the Confederates. Again, these are these large counters. They're pre-rounded. They punch nice and easily. See, they've got great detail on them. And they've got all of their, like this is Polk's core, and it's all of these different designations so that when you do the chip pull, it's really easy to see, hey, these guys are going to activate. And on the back of them, they have if you can see here, they're kind of like full ranks, lots of guys. Oh, here, full ranks, lots of guys. And on the back, there's fewer of them, a bit of a broken up formation, a little bit less organized. Some various status markers for like shaken, and even more shaken. All units shaken up, probably for a whole stack rather than just a single guy. Then we have the Union units over here. Again, similar type of thing. Here we've also got those artillery pieces. Boy. So this one's the artillery here. These are deployed cavalry. Let me find it. This is the artillery here, and these are the kind of mounted cavalry. And then we have a single sheet of other admin markers. These are not pre-rounded, so you will have to clip these. A bit of a bummer, but what are you going to do? VP hexes, various different orders that you'll be using, works, tents, all that kind of stuff. All the stuff you would expect. And so a lot of these, you're also going to, there's formation fatigued markers, which you'll get a penalty to your command rating, which determines how much and what you can do, all these kinds of stuff. So that's the counters. So let's get to the cards, which is the kind of the last thing here. So there's two little decks that come in the game. I'm pretty sure most of it's the same. So lots of different events and things. So this is what we mean when we talk about, like, really is a formation activation game. It's a deck of cards. You're going to draw a card from the deck, and you say DH Hill, right wing average. And then when you roll the die, this is the priority to which it will be assigned. And so if you had that formation out of command, it gives you a -1. You'll never get a 6 on a D6, and so your division priority, where you get the choice of 1 or 2, you'll never get that if they're out of command. It'll always be 1. We've got Johnson, roll a D6, you can assign a command to, or activate any one of these different guys. And then there's also various different events and things like that that are going on in there, right? And some of them you hold and you do it later. And this is all more of the same. Union events, a couple play aids here for Fog of War. Oh, you roll a D66, and that's what you get. And again, more commanders. And these are, I don't know if you can see this, if I can't catch the light here. These are linen finished, very high quality cards. You have CIC activations, which give you a lot of latitude and freedom to do what you want. But that's everything that comes in the game. And, you know, if you think about it, it's a lot, but it's also not. I don't want people to be overwhelmed. The thing with this game is the size of it, right? Flying Pig games are known for their extremely high production value, beautiful maps, really high quality counters, not excessive, but like, they give you the rules and it plays to ensure that you can do what you want to do and do it with as much ease as possible. This is the second volume in the series. They know what they're doing. Most Fearful Sacrifice has gone through a crazy amount of printings now. I think it's at least 3 or 4. And, you know, they've revised things. So this is really clean out of the box is what I'm looking for. Rock of the Chickamauga. But, again, as scary as this may be, if you've got the size for it, it's a hex encounter game. It's a formation activation game. Nothing to be scared of, despite the size and the price of it. That's, I think, what I'm saying is, you get your bang for your buck, and these games are eminently playable. If you play the whole campaign, like the entire battle, it will take you a long time. There's plenty of smaller scenarios that you play on one of these maps, just a section of it. But I'm looking forward to this immensely. I will play this as soon as humanly possible, because I've been looking forward to this game for a very long time. And so, Rock of the Chickamauga from Flying Pig Games, you got to check this out. Appreciate you very much for tuning in. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.